I got two words to talk about. Staying alive. The Columbus Blue Jackets have done the impossible, staying alive until this point in time, and with 2 days left in the regular season, still have a shot at the last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. The Wild and Blues lock up the last two playoff spots in the Western Conference, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Atlantic Division for the first time in their franchise history, setting up battles of Ontario and Florida. We'll get to all that coming up, and how the past 3 days affected the standings coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey Channel. Before we begin straight over, to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do so if you guys. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe button down below. Definitely comment down in the comment section below. It really does help out the channel, and we're on the road to 500 subscribers. So today's video, we've got another game recap video here to discuss lots of intriguing action from our past couple of days as the playoffs are finalizing, heading into the last few days of the regular season. So we'll get to all the game recaps from our past couple of days. We saw 6 games happen over on Monday and 10 games happened yesterday over on Tuesday, so we'll get to all those games here. So let's start off with, we saw the Chicago Blackhawks blow a late third period lead, a game in which Habs rookie Ivan Demidov would score his first career NHL goal. This goal here on Sportsnet, but Demidov would score and make it 2-0 Habs. The Hawks would have a 3-2 lead late, they would blow it, but recovered, and in a shootout they would take down the Montreal Canadiens 4-3 as the Hawks have a 3-game point streak of 0.5-7 and improved to 24, 46, and 11, dropping the Canadians, who have lost 3 straight, to 39, 31, 11. And with the shootout loss, the Jackets remained in the hunt for a last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. For the Hawks, Nazar had a goal and an assist. Bertuzzi and Reichel both also scored in regulation, and Nazar also scored a lone shootout goal for the Blackhawks in the win, while Demidov had a goal and an assist, his first career NHL point and first career NHL goal in his first career NHL game. Armia had 2 assists, Newhook and Slavkovsky both also scored for the Habs, and the shootout loss was an intriguing game there, but the Hawks would take it. Then we saw Detroit Red Wings score 3 unanswered goals and came from behind to beat the Dallas Stars 6-4, as the Red Wings have won 4 of 6 and improved to 38, 35, and 7, while the Stars have lost 6 straight and fall to 50, 25, and 6. It's a bad loss there from Dallas, but they're already locked into the second spot in the Central Division. For the Red Wings, Seider and Raymond both had goal and 2 assists, having 3-point nights. Berggren had goal and an assist. Larkin had 2 assists, and Johansson, Tarasenko, and DeBrincat also scored for Red Wings in the win, while Ben had 2 assists, and Bichelle, Johnston, Dadonov, and Blackwell also scored for the Dallas Stars in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but Red Wings come away with a 6-4 victory. Then we saw New York Rangers score 4 unanswered goals, overcoming a 2-goal deficit and storm back to beat the Florida Panthers 5-3, as the Rangers improved to 38, 36, and 7, while the Panthers are now locked into the third Atlantic spot, having their 3-game win streak end and fall into 47, 30, and 4. So a bad loss there from Florida, and they're going to be traveling to Tampa or Toronto at that point in the first round of the playoffs. For the Rangers, Parsonen, Rempe, and JT Miller all had goal and an assist. Kreider and Keandre Miller both had 2 assists, and Trocheck and Berzinski both also scored for the Rangers in the win, while Reinhardt scored twice, Barkov had 2 assists, and Verhaeghe also scored for the Panthers in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Rangers, and what was a meaningless game for them, come away on top. Then we saw Utah Hockey Club score 4 straight goals and destroy the Nashville Predators 7-3, as the Utah Hockey Club has a 5-game point streak and improved to 38, 30, and 13, definitely going off on a high note, while the Nashville Predators have lost 8 of 10 and fall to 29, 44, and 8. That's a bad loss there from Nashville. For Utah, Keller had a 4-point night, 2 goals, 2 assists. Cooley, who had a goal and 2 assists, and Kerfoot, who had 3 assists, both had 3-point nights. Stenlund and Kesselring both had goal and an assist, and Schmaltz and Bukes both also scored for Utah in the win, while O'Reilly had goal and an assist, and Evangelista and Bunting both also scored for Predators in the loss. It was an intriguing game there between 2 eliminated teams, but we saw Utah Hockey Club come away on top. Then in a first round preview, we saw the LA Kings open the scoring and destroy the Edmonton Oilers 5-0, as the Kings have won 3 straight, 7 of 8, improved to 47, 24, and 9, and with the win, clinch home ice advantage over the Oilers in that first round series. So now the Kings are locked into the second spot in the Pacific, and the Oilers locked into the third spot. Well, with the loss, the Oilers had their 3-game win streak end and fall to 47, 29, and 5 in the year. So it's a bad loss there for the Oilers. For the Kings, Kempe had a 3-point night, goal, 2 assists. Fogle and Fiala both had a goal and an assist. Kopitar and Moore both had 2 assists. Byfield and Gavrikov both also scored. scored, and Rick and Kemper combined to stop all 21 shots they faced in the shutout and win for the Kings. So an impressive game there from LA in the first round series preview, and the Kings clinch home ice advantage. And the last game we saw over on Monday was between the Canucks and the Sharks, as the Canucks would come from behind and beat San Jose 2-1 in overtime, as they have a 4-game point streak and improved to 38-29-14, while the Sharks have lost 10 straight and fall 20-49-12. So it's a bad loss there for the Sharks. For the Canucks, Carlson and DeBrusk, the OT winner, were 2 goal scorers, and Tolo Pelio stopped 15 of 16 shots he faced in his first career NHL win for the Canucks, while Celebrini was lone goal scorer for the Sharks in the loss. It was an intriguing game there between 2 eliminated teams, but it was the Canucks coming on top. Then we saw the Chicago Blackhawks blow a few leads, but recovered, and thanks to this goal here from Frank Nazar in overtime, the Blackhawks come away with a 4-3 overtime victory over the Senators, as they have a 4-game point streak and they finished their regular season with a 25-46-11 record, so a bad finish there to the season there for the Hawks. Well, the Senators had their 3-game point streak, but fall to 44-30-7, so a bad loss there from Ottawa. For the Blackhawks, Bedard had a 3-point night, 2 goals and 8 assists. Nazer, who had the O2 winner, and Veleno both also scored for the Hawks in the win, while Cousins had 2 assists, and Batherson, Cousins, and Chabot were 3 goal scorers for Senators in the overtime loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Senators, who were already locked into the first wildcard spot, lose in overtime to Chicago. Then we saw the Toronto Maple Leafs open the scoring and shut out the Buffalo Sabres 4-0, as the Leafs have won 3 straight, 7 of 8, improved to 51-26-4, and with the victory have won the Atlantic Division. The first time in franchise history the Leafs have done that. Love to see that. That has locked the Leafs in the first spot in the Atlantic and the Bolts at second spot in the Atlantic, thus making a first-round matchup of Toronto, Ottawa, and Tampa, Florida. Battle of Ontario and Battle of Florida in the first round of the Atlantic Division. That's going to be extremely awesome to watch. So really good win there for Toronto, while Buffalo has lost 4 straight and fall 35-39-7. For the Leafs, Matthews had a goal and 8 assists. Martin Robertson Lawrence also scored, and Stolar stopped all 35 shots he faced in a shutout and victory for the Leafs. So an impressive game there, but was Toronto coming away on top. Then we saw the New Jersey Devils blow a 2-goal lead, but recovered and took down the Boston Bruins 5-4 in overtime, as they have ended their 3-game losing streak and improved to 42-32-7, while the Bruins have lost 13 of 16 and finished the year with a 33-39-10 record on the season. So a bad finish there for the Boston Bruins, and what has been an awful season for their standards. For the Devils, Meyer had a 3-point night, goal, 2 assists. Mercer had a goal and 8 assists. Luke Hughes and Heischer both had 2 assists. And Nosen, Dumoulin, who scores first as a Devil and the overtime winner, and Nemec also scored for the Devils in the win, while Pastrnak had a goal and 8 assists. Zadorov had 2 assists. And Konstantinou Farinacci, who scored his first career NHL goal, and Geeky also scored for the Bruins in the overtime loss. So it was an intriguing game there, but the Devils do come away on top. Then we saw the Columbus Blue Jackets open the scoring thanks to this goal here from Dante Fabro, Ronaldo Coscreta Sportsnet, but Fabro was able to open the scoring, and it was all they needed. The Jackets shut out the Philadelphia Flyers 3-0, getting the regulation win they had needed, as they have won 5 straight, improved to 39-33-9, and are still alive for the last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Well, for the Flyers, they have their 3-game point streak end and fall to 33-38-10 on the year. So really good win there for the Jackets, as they are still on the precipice of potentially making the playoffs. For the Jackets, Monahan, Warinsky both had 2 assists, and Johnson, Fantilli, and Fabro were 3 goal scorers, with Greaves stopping all 29 shots he faced in the shutout victory for Columbus. So an impressive game there from Greaves as the Jackets take down Philadelphia. Then we saw Tampa Bay Lightning in what will now be a first-round preview open up a 4-goal lead and take down the Florida Panthers 5-1, as the Bolts have a 6-game point streak and lock up second in the Atlantic with a 47-26-8 record, while the Panthers finished the year with a 47-31-4 record. So not a great finish to the year for Florida, but still, they had a pretty good season. For the Bolts, Point had a 3-point night, goal, 2 assists. Kucherov had a goal and 8 assists. Gordon Hedman both had 2 assists, and Radish, Gensel, and Geeky also scored for the Bolts, with Vasilevsky stopping 23 of 24 shots he faced in the win for Tampa, while Marchand was the lone goal scorer for Florida in the loss. So a stellar way to end the season there for Florida, but the Bolts do lock up second in the Atlantic. Then we saw the Washington Capitals open up a 2-goal lead and beat the New York Islanders 3-1, as they improved to 51-21-9, dropping the Islanders, who have lost 4 of 5 to 35-34-12. For the Capitals, Strome had all 3 goals for the Capitals, having a hat trick. And Lindgren stopped 32 of 33 shots he faced in the win for the Capitals, while Pajot was the lone goal scorer for the Islanders in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, with the Caps going away with the victory. Then we saw the Minnesota Wild overcome a late deficit. They were down 2-1 late in the game, tied it up late in the third, and then in overtime, thanks to this goal here from Matt Boldy, the Wild will come away with a 3-2 overtime victory. The win means that they have now won 4 of 5. They lock up the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, so they're finished up the season. They have a 45-30-7 record, but with locking up the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, they've now earned themselves a date with the Vegas Golden Knights in round 1, so that series is now also finished. While the Ducks have lost 3 straight and fall to 35-37-9. For the Wild, Boldy, who had the OT winner, and Johansson both had goal and assists. Zuccarello had 2 assists, and Eriksson also scored for the Wild in the win, while Colangelo and Killorn were 2 goal scorers for Ducks in the OT loss. So it was an intriguing game there, but the overtime victory means that the Wild are playing the Knights in the first round. Then we saw the St. Louis Blues jump out to a 4-goal lead and destroyed the Utah Hockey Club 6-1 as they've ended a 3-game losing streak, clinch a playoff spot. They clinched the last wildcard spot in the Western Conference, clinching wildcard spot 2 and a date with the Winnipeg Jets in round 1, and finished their year with a 44-38 record, while Utah has their 5-game point streak end and finished the year with a 38-31-13 record. So interesting finishes there for both St. Louis and Utah. For the Blues, Bouchard had 3-point night, goal to assist. Kyrou scored twice. Bolduc, Shen, and Snuggerud scored his first career NHL goal. All had goal and assist. Thomas and Fowler both had 2 assists. Bennington stopped 22-23 shots he faced in the win for St. Louis, while Keller was one goal scorer for Utah in the loss. It was an intriguing game there. Then we saw Calgary Flames overcome a 2-goal deficit and storm back to beat Vegas 5-4 in a shootout, as they have a 3-game win and 7-game point streak, improved to 40-27-14, but they were eliminated from playoff contention thanks to the Blues and Wild loss, so a sour way to end the season there for Calgary. Well, Vegas now has a 6-game point streak, but they do fall to 49-22-10 on the year. For the Flames, Kadri had a goal and an assist, Coronado had 2 assists, Backlund, Frost, and Klapka all also scored in regulation, and Frost was the lone shield goal scorer for the Flames in the win, while Side had 3-point with a goal and 2 assists, Hurdle had a goal and an assist, and Roy and Dorofiev also scored for the Knights in the loss. It was an intriguing game there. The Knights pick up a point, but the Flames win and are eliminated. And the last game we saw over on Tuesday was between the Kings and the Kraken, as the LA Kings jumped to a 4-goal lead and held on to beat the Seattle Kraken 6-5, as the Kings have won 4 straight 8 of 9 and improved to 48-24-9, while the Kraken have lost 3 of 4 and finished the year with a 35-41-6 record. An awful season there from Seattle. For the Kings, Helenius scored twice, Kempe and Turcotte both had a goal and an assist, Fiala and Gavrikov both had 2 assists, and Fogle and LaFerriere both also scored for the Kings in the win, while Montour, Beniers, Karche, Tolvanen, and Schwartz were the 5 goal scorers for the Kraken in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Kings do come out with the victory and do improve to 48 wins on the season. So those are all the games we saw from our past couple days. Lots of intriguing action from over the past handful of days. Now going over to see how it affects the standings as it sits right now. As it sits right now, 7 teams in the Eastern Conference have hit the 90-point plateau, including 3 teams, that's the Bolts, the Leafs, and the Capitals, who have hit triple digits. The Caps are at 111 points, have won the Eastern Conference, so we'll play whoever finishes in the second wildcard spot. Then you have the Toronto Maple Leafs with 106 points, having won the Atlantic, playing Ottawa in round 1. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have 102 points and playing the Panthers in round 1. Then you have the 99-point Hurricanes, 98-point Panthers, 95-point Sens who are in the first wildcard position, and 91-point Devils, who all hit 90 points, have all clinched playoff spots, and they all know who they're going to play in the first round of the playoffs. Then you have the last 2 teams remaining in the second wildcard race in the Eastern Conference. The Canadiens have 89 points with 1 game left. The Jackets have 87 points and are on the outside looking in with 1 game left. The Jackets need a regulation loss from Montreal and a regulation win by themselves in those 2 teams' last games to have a shot to clinch. If Montreal gains a point, or if the Jackets lose a point, or even if the Canadiens lose in regulation and the Jackets don't win in regulation in their final game, the Canadiens will still go through. So the odds are still with the Canadiens to probably wind up getting that last wildcard spot, but the Jackets are not out of it yet. Meanwhile, if you go over to the Western Conference, 10 teams have hit the 90-point plateau, including 5 teams who have hit triple digits. That's the Jets, Knights, Stars, Kings, and Avalanche, who have all hit triple digits. The Jets are at 114 points, have won the President's Trophy, and are the best team in the NHL. The Knights are at 108 points, they've won the Pacific Division, and they will face the Minnesota Wild in round 1. Then you have the 106-point Stars, the 105-point Kings, and the 102-point Avalanche, who've all clinched playoff berths, know who they're going to be facing. Then you have the 99 99-point Edmonton Oilers, the 97-point Minnesota Wild, who are in the first wildcard spot, and the 96-point St. Louis Blues, who are in the second wildcard spot, who have all also clinched the playoff spot and know who they're playing. And then you have the 94-point Flames and the 90-point Canucks, who are both eliminated from playoff contention, but have also hit the 90-point plateau. So interesting note there, but we know 7 of the 8 first-round matchups already. At this point, we know that the Knights are going to play the Wild, the Kings are going to host the Oilers, the Stars are hosting the Avalanche, the Jets are hosting the Blues, the Senators are going to Toronto, the Panthers are going to Tampa, the Devils are going to Carolina. The only matchup we do not know is who's going to go to Washington. It's either going to be Montreal or Columbus, depending on how those last few games finish for these two teams. Definitely, that's all I'm going to talk about for today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on all that was discussed here today down in the comment section below. Did any of the games over the past couple of days surprise you? Or surprise at any matchups that we're going to see in the first round? And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on who you think will get that second wildcard spot, Montreal or Columbus, down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk about for today. Remember to like this video, and if you're listening, to subscribe below. Thank you for all your support. I'll never do this without you guys. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, really helps support the channel, and don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section below. Also a blog to news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so check that out. Leave a link to that down in the description below. And can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.